I know that you're not pulled into sales as much anymore, but in a process of somebody trying to become a client, trying to work with you, what are some of like the red flags that pop up that you're, oh, that's like a hard stop no for me? Or what are some things that I or anybody in my situation should be aware of in that process?
First thing for me is just understanding the business fit. What do you do? What do you sell? Do you have any sort of edge, right? And then also, what are you entrenched up against? Especially from an SEO point of view, it's like if you got a brand new website and we get tons of leads from rehab centers and single product companies. I feel for them. Everyone's just trying to build a business here, trying to make their own nut. There's no judgment on that, but we just can't help you, bro. You're just not far along enough from whether it's SEO or my growth marketing stuff. Even if you can pay the retainer, you have no momentum. Every company has to go through the process where you build your own foundation. You find your own little space, whether that's being somebody on Instagram or whether it's like whatever it is, right? Whether you do trade shows, network events, like you have to have some sort of momentum if marketing is going to actually take effect. You can't start from zero and be like, we need marketing. Like that's just not the right first step, right? That's kind of one for me. And I just inherently having evaluated tens of thousands of businesses over the last, decade or so, I can just pretty much tell right away. And a lot of founders come in, they have a perfect example, this male skincare line. And so this is part two, is just kind of openness, willingness, attitude of the person that I'm speaking to. So number one is just, are they a nice person? Because I just can't work with people that are assholes, right? They come on, they're like arrogant. They think they know what they're talking about. They want to talk down to you, even though they've reached out to you and they've already self-selected that they need help with marketing, but they kind of had know-it-all syndrome. That's a huge red flag for me too. So like this skincare line came in, male skincare line, for example, and they were really good product because they sent me some. I don't really have a male skincare routine, but like it smelled good and like I put it on and it felt good, right? So it's in the packaging looked nice. Like it was clean, nice website, all that stuff. And yeah, they had big visions of being the male skincare brand, which is fine, but they were so unopen to any sort of marketing suggestions. That's what I was coming up with. I was like, at the end of the day, you want to run ads against this stuff. There has to be some sort of benefit. Like they were just trying to sell it as like men need a skincare routine. You're trying to go against thousands of years of male programming. You're trying to re-educate males that we need to do a skincare routine. Like my wife, we're talking about a whole just mixed bag of internet.
You know who sold me on a skincare routine? Fucking Alex Becker in a YouTube video. That guy 100% like not actually selling anything. He was just drink more water, put some moisturizer on, or some like put some lotion on your face once a day and sleep 8 hours a night and you won't look like a goblin by the time you're 40. And I was like, I could do that.
I actually do. I put
yeah.
It's sunscreen. I mean, I'm in Florida, right?
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, it's like SPF, whatever. And I got it and I put it on my face. I'm like, I feel, but anyways, it's so funny, but the things that get you to start a habit, it was in a new Facebook ads video and it was just a throwaway comment from him. Anyways, it's so silly. But yeah, man, like you were saying, they weren't open to anything. They
weren't open to, because basically I was like, look, okay, right? If you want to sell this fast, because they had VCs up their ass, they had millions of dollars invested in this brand, obviously, right? And they were like, we need to hit numbers by the end of this quarter. I'm like, okay, if we're going to go direct marketing with this, you have to be comfortable taking this skincare line and being like, it does Y. If you put X on, you'll get rid of the bags under your eyes or like crow's feet, something along those lines, right? And they're like, yeah, it does do those things, like any skincare routine does, quote unquote, like whether, that's true or not, whatever, but it's legal for them to say that, right? But they refuse to do it. They were like, no, our shtick is we want to be the go-to skin. And bro, when I tell you there were 7 creams and lotions that they had to put on, I was like, all right, man, you don't understand the psychology of your target market here. Those guys are not going to be like, yeah, I want to spend 30 minutes a day, morning and night, putting on all these lotions with no outcome or benefit aside from they were trying to sell you on the fact that men need a skincare routine too. And I'm like, that's fine. But if you want to sell that messaging, that's a whole content play, dude. We're influencers, content consistently over years and years and years. And then you become entrenched. And yeah, then you become $1 billion company, but you're talking about 2 different things. So red flags like that, where it's like their goals don't align with what their actions are, what they're willing to do for it, especially from somebody who knows what they're talking about, right? So like they get on, like, those are kind of my biggest red flags. Number one is just product or business, something that I think the market needs and will react well to, which can be told from Shark Tank style, 5 minutes of conversation. B, are they somebody that I think is a nice person and would be enjoyable to work with? And C, what is your openness to actually taking any sort of recommendations from the person that you're paying a lot of money to? Those are kind of my, basic red flags.
If I could add, so the ones that I definitely overlap, the bureaucracy thing, if it takes 2 weeks to sign the NDA, to put together a traffic projection, and then it's just all these different hiccups and and then this and then that, cool. Like this isn't that important to you. And I was about to work with a really big global tech company and we probably probably spent a month going round and round with security clearances and all. And I'm like, I don't understand why I have to do this. I literally am not in any of your stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have access. I don't need access to anything. There's no reason for this. And then in the end, they were like, well, our company policies, we only work with companies of 3 or more people. And I'm like, I would love to know the backstory on why that rule got created. Because it sounds like one of those things, something insane happened and some bureaucrat was like, oh, there's a rule now. We don't work. Like, that's insane. Anyways, the bureaucracy thing, huge red flag for me. Do I believe in the product? Huge red flag. There's plenty of products that I'm kind of middle on. I'm very like, cool, I'm not the audience for this, but sometimes you'll get a product. I had a person that really wanted to work with me and he did automated stuff on Facebook for local businesses, kind of like, hey, it's your birthday, here's a discount, or that sort of thing. And you're great, could be huge, then I'll regret it later, but I don't believe in this. I think that building a whole product on top of Facebook, probably not a great idea right now. The competitors thing, the know-it-all stuff, I fired a client. Should have been a great client, but it was just immediately was, I can do better than this myself. Cool. Well, you haven't though. So if if you're the CEO of this company and you know everything better than me because you think you have access to the same tools as me, that's fine. I have access to screwdrivers and hammers too, and I can't build a house, right? Like I can buy the same tool. I can buy all these saws and different things, but I still can't build the things that other people can build. The biggest thing you mentioned here is this with the skincare thing was like just at the wrong level of awareness. They're hyper focused on this problem unaware level, like people who don't even realize there's a problem. Talk about top of funnel. We're talking national television ads, if that's what you want to do. You have to make the society believe that this is a problem because they currently don't. And I saw a tweet about this the other day that was like, literally the best businesses are, oh, this other thing, I'm just going to take this concept and move it to this other like vertical or this other, it's this thing, it's Uber for this, it's Airbnb for this. Just take a thing that's working that could be used somewhere, figure out a way like Airbnb, but for schools. I don't know. I made that up. That sort of thing. It makes me, it reminds me a lot of who ideal people are for me. I think there's this old memo from, I think his name's Stewart Butterfield, the CEO of Slack. He wrote this thing called We Don't Sell Saddles Here, which was all about like, we're not selling just a product. We don't sell saddles. We sell the lifestyle of riding horses. And the more people we can get into this thing, the more obviously we'll sell saddles. And that's their go-to-market plan. And I think that's interesting, right? I want somebody who in a company, and this kind of loops back to other things, but things that are creative and interesting. Like, do you have something, like I call it a spiky point of view, or anybody who can write what I call like punchy copy, I'm into that, right? Yeah. If you're aggressive and competitive, awesome. But those red flags I think are really true. Or just like people, dude, when I hear this phrase, I'm out immediately. When somebody goes, well, we're bootstrapped. Cool. What you just said to me is we're poor and we want a discount. Like, I know what that means. I know what it means. And I know a lot of bootstrap companies. Turns out MailChimp, bootstrap company, sold like multi-billion dollars. Don't cry. Anybody who immediately is like, give me a discount, immediate no.
Yeah, go raise money.
Raise money, or just you're not ready for this yet because you're not making there are earlier levers to pull, to your point, than marketing.